Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Disobedience. This was one of my most anticipated films of the summer movie season, starting with Avengers Infinity War pretty much all the way through August. When I saw the trailer for this, it looked fantastic. You have Rachel Weitz, Rachel Mcadams, and an LGBT story. I'm on board. And the final product was a very good film that I wish had pushed it just an extra bit to be great. But let's go ahead and talk about the many things it does well first. And we're going to start off with our two leading ladies. Rachel Weitz is fantastic in this movie. I think she's almost always fantastic in everything that she does. And she's very good here as well. And I just loved her character in general. She definitely gets the best lines in the entire film. She gets really fun moments to just let loose. And then she also gets those tender moments as well. Those deep moments and a really nice character arc. As for Rachel McAdams, this may be the best I have ever seen her. She was so good in this movie, and I think gives the best performance of anyone in this movie. She has a very complex character to pull off here, and she does it beautifully well. Her entire range is on display, and you just feel everything that her character is going through throughout this entire film, and she just conveys it all so beautifully well. All of our background characters are also very, very good. In particular, Alessandro Nivola, who arguably is our third lead here, is also fantastic. He has a lot to portray himself, and his character is pretty layered, and he does a fantastic job as well. So our three main characters are fantastic. All three of them deliver amazing performances, and everybody else is also very strong. And what's great here is that all three of those main characters are given real characters. They are given a lot to work with. The writing for character development and depth and creating full-fledged, multi-dimensional people was spectacular. So the writing plus the acting created really interesting, complex, real characters, and that was actually fantastic to see. I loved what this film said regarding religion and sexuality, but the relationship there is complex, and I think there was a nice amount of growth that took place regarding religious values and sexuality near the end of this film. That was actually a really nice development in such a story. And then we had that cinematography. It was gorgeous. This movie looks beautiful. It's very well directed. The writing is really spot on, and the acting is great, and it all comes together to create a story and characters that you care about. You are fully invested in what happens to everybody here. You really are intrigued, and you are involved with these people's lives, and that's what made it such an impactful experience. And then there are just moments in this film that work so beautifully. There are moments of just breakthroughs that are done so well. The symbolism is so beautiful. They do it without telling you what's going on here. It just shows you and sweeps you up into the emotion, and I think that's what this film ends up doing very well. There's not a whole lot of telling. It's just there. The tension is there. The atmosphere is there. The feelings, the sexual tension is there, and they never have to explicitly go on and tell it. My favorite scene of the whole film actually was more of a comedic scene, but it's everybody just discussing around the table. This is where Rachel Weisz is able to get a lot of her little zingers in that are so good. Rachel McAdams starts her character's transformation at the table, and again, we get to see the dynamic of what is going on here just through a conversation that we would see in many films, but it's done in particular very well here. So what does the film not do so well that kept it from really being great? Well, I think it tries to tackle a lot of different issues, and it tries to tell like 4 different types of stories all in one. So I mentioned I thought it did the religious part well. I thought that it actually did that very well. However, there's a lot of other things going on here. There's a story of a daughter and her father and their relationship. Then we have, obviously, the romantic relationship here. We have the same-sex relationship here. And then there's a further relationship that I think actually was the best one. It was the relationship religion and community and pressure has on someone's psyche. And I think that was done actually the best. But the point is that we have all of these that are done well, but I wish they all would have been done great. And they just weren't able to be done great. And I think it leaves us with less of an emotional impact than it intended to. And that also leaves us with jumps. We don't understand choices that are made at the end because they don't quite make sense. You don't understand the decision-making process. So while I enjoyed that they didn't spoon-feed us, I think we were definitely missing conversations that needed to be had. We were missing decision-making processes that should have been included in the storytelling. We make these big jumps without getting any of that in-between stuff that I think really would have been beneficial to the viewer, but also a chance to really further flesh out the characters even more. Another kind of weird, more nitpicky problem I had with the film was some really weird sexual stuff that happens in the movie. So when we get the payoff with Rachel Weisz and Rachel Mcadams, I did mostly really enjoy it, but there's always seems to be these weird moments of weird sexual stuff that they have to throw in when it comes to same-sex encounters, and that was definitely the case here. I mean, there was like legitimate spit dropping from one person's mouth to another, and I was just like, oh, was that needed? Was that necessary? I don't really know. I don't really think so. I think the scene was passionate and beautifully shot and just a beautiful scene without that. And this is the second indie film I've seen this weekend that is really, really strong, except it decides to add in melodrama. And I really wish that the melodrama wasn't there. And it would be a spoiler, so I'm not going to mention really what it is, but there is one sub-story, like a subplot, with Rachel McAdams' character that shows up that I really knew was coming. I forecasted it on its way, but I was hoping they wouldn't do it, or I was hoping it was a misdirect, and it's not, and it really cheapened the whole experience. So what I wish it would have done is just let this be a human story. I wish we didn't have so much in here that was just floating around and trying to be resolved and trying to be told. And then we had an extra layer of melodrama here, melodrama there. And I wish it would have stripped that all down just a little bit. Simplified the whole ordeal and just let this love story and its relationship with religion be told. And some of those could have served him more of a backdrop. Instead of trying to flesh out each one of those relationships, just strip it down, make it a more personal, more human love story experience. And I think it would have been a great film. I think it would have hit the emotional points that it was trying to hit, and I think the filmmakers intended to hit by the end of the story. But it didn't, and we were still left with a very good film here. One that was so close to breaking through to great, it just couldn't quite get there. So, if you are a member of the LGBTQ community, definitely give this a full price ticket. It is worth it, and it needs to be supported. Each and every film that gets even somewhat of a substantial release at this point, we still need to support. We're not there yet to the point where we can let these fall off the board. But the important part, it is a quality film. It is one that deals with tougher issues. It is one that is beautifully crafted and deserves a full price ticket. If you are someone within religion, and one in particular that is a religious LGBTQ ally or open within that realm, I definitely say give this a full price ticket. I think it is fair across the board. And if you're into love stories and if you're into prestige style dramas, give this a full price ticket. I think it is definitely worth the viewing experience. So, that is my review of Disobedience. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Disobedience? Or have you already seen it? If you have, let me know your thoughts either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!